Hi, I'm Kenkra from Kinara Gaming. In this series, I'm going to show you one of my favourite survival games. I will start off showing you the basics and throw in some tips I have learned throughout my time on air. We have landed on an area known as Olympus with nothing more than the suits on our backs. We must forage and craft to survive this harsh wilderness and make ourselves a base of operations. So let's get into it. Welcome to Icarus.
First things first, if you want to complete missions for the UDA, you'll need to craft a short-range radio. Plenty of folks need help, and factions pay well for prospectors that offer their time. Up to you. Stay safe.
Right, so I'm going to kind of start off a little bit at the moment, just picking up some basic mats and that. I'm grabbing some sticks and some fibre, looking for some stones on the floor. And then we can craft ourselves a little bit of starter gear. Right, you will notice these blue deposits on the floor. It's called oxide. It is very vital as it will keep you breathing, as the atmosphere is very toxic. So we must wear our suits at all times. So this is my character here. As you can see, I've only come down with my Enviro suit. I have a slot available to put the oxide in, which will convert the oxide into oxygen to keep me alive. Go into the crafting menu and I can make myself a stone pickaxe. And that's about it at the moment, as I need more stone. So vital, getting your oxide wherever you can, especially in this early game. Still getting the stone as well. We shan't bother with stuff like the lilies and that at the moment, as we are very limited on the amount of storage space we have at this moment in time. So now I'm crafting myself a stone axe. So obviously the pickaxe is for breaking minerals and stone and stuff, which is very, very satisfying. I do like the system of mining on this game. And then we've got our axe for chopping down trees and collecting actual wood. All the wood that I've been collecting has been sticks, whereas chopping down the trees gives you proper wood, which you then have to collect from the floor. Can get a bit tedious, but later on, when we start getting into the talent points, there is an ability to automatically collect it, and it's a very good talent to have. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Right, as you can see, there's not much I can craft at the moment. I can make the wood piles and that, stone piles, and just a few basic things. As we level, we will start earning points, which will unlock this tech tree. As we level, we get more tech points, and each milestone of 10 levels, we unlock the next tier on the tech tree. There are 5 in total, so at level 40, we unlock the current last tier. But again, we will get into that a little bit later. At the moment, it's just about getting this first level. There we go. My first level. Oh, we've got a storm. So we need to hide from this storm. They can get very, very dangerous and very, very painful. Also, the wildlife can get very, very dangerous and be very, very painful. Right, what we're going to do is just burrow into this rock here, just for a bit of protection against the storm. Just going to make ourselves a little hovel. And this will keep us protected from the storm. So whilst we're here, let's start spending some of our points. Very important thing you need at the start is a stone knife, bow, arrows, and a campfire. So they're the first points I've spent. So let's craft ourselves a stone knife, a wood bow, and as you can see, I'm out of fibre, so I can't make any arrows at the moment. Whilst we're waiting for this storm to clear, let's just quickly skin this carcass. It's a Tyrannus. It's a bit like a horse, but with sharp fangs. As you can see, I've got the storm exposure coming up. As that builds up, you start getting penalties, start losing life, just generally having a bad time. So that's why we tuck ourselves away in here. I'm going to make myself some arrows. I can make 21. Let's just make the 20 for the time being. Ooh, there's a wolf trying to get to me. A couple of wolves trying to get to me. Right, my knife broke, so I shall right click and repair. It costs 1 stone to repair. Take this other wolf out and kill this wolf, shall we? Oh, and we got another level up. Let's quickly skin these. Right, we've got another 3 ability points here. So let's have a look at what we can get. So basic water purifier is very good to get. Otherwise, you'll be drinking horrible water all the time. We will need ourselves a torch, so as it gets dark, we can see. And then we'll go into the start of the base building. You've got the thatch stuff, which is basically made out of straw or fibre and that. Very cheap to make, but it can take a lot of damage, and I've never found any use to it. You've then got the ice building base. You can make yourself igloos and everything. Very, very good. But obviously you need to be somewhere where you can get a lot of ice. And as we have started in the forest, it's not really a viable option. The main one, which I always recommend going for, is the wood. We know how easy it is to chop down trees. It seems to last a lot better than thatch. It can catch fire, but so can the thatch. It's just my recommendation from the start. Now this storm seems to have gone. Let's try and find somewhere where there's some water. You can see that I've unlocked a lot of the map. That's during my playthroughs. When you first start, the area will be black until you get near certain places, unlocking the surrounding areas and that. So we are going to look to go towards some water. If we head down to this way, I've always found that this place is a very good place to start around in. Oh, yes. So you may want to grab some berries, any fruit or that you see. Again, you've got stuff like coffee. It's not worth grabbing that at the moment. It's just going to take up space. But with the berries and like the pumpkins and that, it just gives you some food until you can get yourself set up properly. Oh, right. We've got a big oxide node here. You use the pickaxe to mine it, and it gives you a lot more than just picking up random bits off the floor. Right, so oxide has all been used, so let's put a full stack in my suit. just going to do a temporary base here for the time being. There are some beautiful places that you can make buildings on and that, and I'd like to show you some of them. So what we're going to do first is go to the crafting and make a campfire. I'm going to make the campfire, set the campfire down on the floor, put in our meats, put in some wood, and that's just going to cook our meats for us. Then going to need some more wood, so let's chop down a tree. Before we start building the base, I'm going to give you one of the best early game tips I have learnt. You may have noticed I made the fire as soon as I got here. Not only does that give us cooked food to eat, but it also starts producing charcoal. We need charcoal to make the water purifiers. As you can see, it takes 10 pieces. You've got the rain water purifier, which you would set out just on the floor, and when it rains, it collects water and it filters it through. The better one, though, I find, is the basic water purifier. Put that in the water, and you use the charcoal to filter the water in that, and then you can just drink from it. And later on, you will learn containers and stuff that can hold the water and carry it around with you. Right, we've got 16 charcoal. We needed 10, so let's make the basic purifier. I'm going to right click and deploy in the water. Make sure it goes green. Let's move around here. Okay, open it up, drop some charcoal in, and you can see the little dial where it's going up. And then I just need to click X and I'll drink from it. And that puts our water back up. So it's very, very important to get that done quite early, as you don't want to get dysentery. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is start setting up a simple base. There are, again, a few options of doing this, but I would recommend at the start putting 4 posts in the ground, and then we're going to want 2 floors, 6 walls, a couple of roof pieces, and some wood angles. Right, so I'm going to run out here. So let's, whilst that's crafting, let's start just building the basic base. It does snap, which is great. And we're just looking at making a simple rectangle. Sure, put a window in there, and then we'll have a door here. If you hold down R, it gives you these options, different versions of the wall, so you can make it how you want. Add your windows, obviously the door frame. And we are going to add the roof parts. So you can do it 2 ways. You can have it as the ramp, as you can see, like this. Or if you would like a different way, just pick up the pieces. Again, hold R, and you've got these different options on how you could do your roof. You also have a ramp and stairs that you can make with this. So it's very, very useful, but we'll go with the peak roof here like this. And then we need 2 angles, which we need some more wood. And that's a dead wolf again. Hair out our knife. If you leave the animals around in their corpses and that, it will attract other wildlife. So it is recommended to clear as much as you can, if you can. So we've got 3 different types of meat at the moment. So let's take that off the fire. Let's put this new stuff on. Got a bit of bacon there. Let's take the charcoal off. Right, so each food has got its own stats and stuff to help. So with the basic cooked meat, you've got the 20 health and then 100 on your food meter. It will take space in your stomach, which you have 3 of, which gives you plus 75 maximum health and plus 20% health regeneration. Whereas the cooked giant steak will give you 30 health when eaten, 150 food, and give you 100 stamina, 150 health, 50 health regeneration, and an extra 5% experience gain. So having different types of food gives you different food buffs. So that's my 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's get this base finished. So we need the 2 corner pieces and we need a door. So again, with the way the roof's peaked, we'll go with the angle peak here. And just finish off building that base. And there's our door. So nice, simple little base there. Let's put a stairway there. So if it's coming out and it's not on the angle you would like, if you push the R button, just tap it, it will change direction. Right, we have leveled up in the meantime. So let's go back to the tech tree. Let's look at what, again, is very, very important for the early on playthrough. So we have something called an oxidizer, which will, you put your oxide in there and it will convert it into air. Quite important right near the beginning. Bedroll, which will basically turn into a spawn point and you can go to sleep to get rid of the night, basically. The next thing we're going to look at is the drying rack. This is absolutely brilliant. Yes, you can cook your meat on the campfire. You can obviously cook a variety of different foods. But as you can see, the foods do start spoiling and it doesn't last very long until we get into the storages later, which will make things last better. So my recommendation is to get the drying rack and actually dry the meats. They last a hell of a lot longer. You can get some good bonuses and it's just generally a lot better. And then the last thing we'll do is the small wood crate, so we can start making storage and putting stuff away so we don't carry everything on us. Let's make our drying rack. Even though we're no longer cooking on here, we will keep it burning to keep the charcoal coming. So as you can see, the bar at the bottom that goes down, that is the wood burning and turning into charcoal. So we'll put the drying rack out. We will put our raw meat on there and it's going to take a minute to do one bit. It takes a while, but that's why we have this extra stuff at the beginning. So, as you can see, normal bit of cooked meat. It says here it's got 16 minutes until it's spoiled. With the dried, you've got 1.4 hours. So that's just under an hour and a half that piece of meat will last. We want to make a bedroll, but unfortunately we need fur, and to get fur we need to kill some more animals and skin them. So at the moment we can't make that. So let's make a couple of wood crates, which just takes some wood and some fiber. And then we can start storing all this stuff. Ideally you want to keep it away from the windows, because if we have a storm they could get damaged. You won't lose the contents inside because it'll end up on a bag on the floor. I'll give you an example in a minute. Right, so let's get some wood and some fiber. Let's make a crate. Let's put the wood and fiber inside there, and then this is what happens when it breaks. As you can see, the container's broke, but you get an overflow bag, which you grab the contents on the inside. Right, next thing we should look at doing is making the oxidizer. which is here. So we need sticks, fiber, leather, and bones. All stuff that we've been getting as we've been going. So let's craft ourselves our oxidizer. Put our oxidizer there. We now need to take some of the oxide out, and then we can push E just to fill that up. And as you can see, like the water thing on the outside, that is starting to fill up. And when we need to get oxygen, we just push E to consume. One thing that you might find a bit confusing if you are playing the game is that it comes up as E for myself, but I did actually go into the settings, controls, and the key bindings, and I just changed the interact button to an E. It is set as default as an F, so feel free to use that or change it to whatever button you want. I just find through other games I've played with, having that E button is a lot easier. Also, you've got your auto run M4 there, which is the mouse 4 button, which is on the side of your mouse. Again, it just makes things a lot easier for myself. Right, so we need to go make our bedroll. So let's go and hunt some wildlife, shall we? You can see in the distance, little knife and fork thing there. That would be an animal that is looking for food. And it's a rabbit. So we're going to go in stealth mode by pushing control. And we're going to sneak up on the rabbit. Line up our shot and shoot. Oh, and I missed. Got it the second time. Whew. Let's eat some food to regain some of that health back. Eat some of our food to get our health back. As you can see, each bit of food that gives you health increases your health bar back up. Let's make ourselves our bedroll. So looking fiber, sticks, fur, and leather. And then place our bedroll on the floor. So if you hold your interact button to set your spawn point, if you die, this is where you'll come back. If you do die, you will leave everything that you've got on you on a bag on the floor by your body. So you would have to go back to collect everything. We leveled up during all that. So let's look at what we need. You will see on tier 1, there are a few items that require level 5. So we have another level to wait. We don't want to spend all our points. We want to keep some points behind. When we hit level 10 in the tier 2, if we've got some points available still, just means we can get further into the tier 2 tech. So we are just basically at the moment looking at what we need and not just trying to spend everything where we can. Another thing we're going to look at getting is a sickle. Sickle is used for gathering plant life. So your vegetables, your fruits, fiber, herbs and stuff. So it's worth getting. It wasn't more important than axes or the knife or anything, which is why we've only just waited till now to get it. So other than that, there's not much else I want to get at the moment. Oh, actually, scratch that. The wood hammer. That is used for repairing. If we have a storm, our building will take damage because it is only made out of wood, and having the wood hammer is very important to have to repair that up. So if I just push my interact button on this fern, I will harvest up 7 fiber. Using the bone sickle, I got 19. So as you can see, it is a tool definitely worth having. So we're now going to make our hammer. Right, and as it is dark, you find it very difficult to see. We're going to make our wood rag torch. So we shall craft that. And I always tend to craft another one because when this runs out, it's not repairable. So we'll push L and we have our light. And we've got our spare torch for when that runs out. Right, well, there's not much that we can really do in the dark. It's a lot more dangerous out there. Let's take our dried stringy meat. As you can see, it is a lot better than the basic dried meat. All right, we're now going to go to sleep. And it's now morning. So we need to get another few levels. So we're going to go out and do some mining, get some resources, get some wood, kill some creatures and that, get some XP and just get some leveling. Right, we're going to take out the trees that are around our base. If we get a bit of a nasty storm and the trees get knocked over, they can damage, they fall on top of the base. As you can see, I knocked that tree down and it has taken one of my pieces out. So I need to craft a new one. Right. Well, that seems to be all the trees in the surrounding area that could affect the base. So I'm happy with that. As you can see, I am severely over encumbered. I only have a carry weight of 110 kilograms, but I have 196.6 on me. So this is kind of what happens when you're over encumbered. It slows you down drastically. If you get attacked whilst like this, your odds of survival is not the greatest. So we are going to put some bits away in the storage. But as you can see, the storage is a bit full. So what we are going to do is turn the wood into piles. I can make 11 piles, so that's 1,100 wood there. And these are stackable. So right, let's get yourself some water and some oxygen whilst they are being made. And we're just going to stack them a little way from the base, just so they're not in our way. Okay, so now not so much encumbered. Right, so I don't know if you have noticed at this point in the video, up in this top corner where it says about the blueprint points, it says I've got 19 talent points and 2 solo points. So we're going to have a quick look into the talent trees. We do have 2 different types of talent trees, so we'll go into talents here. And as you can see, you've got talents and solo. So these will build up as you level. The solo are only available when you are playing on your own. So let's have a quick look at these. So the first row here, we've got increased base stamina, increased movement speed, increased health, and increased melee damage. So I'm going to look to do 1 into the stamina and 1 into the health. It does unlock the next line down. Now we'll go into the main talent tree. So every time you level, you'll get between 1 and 2 talent points. There are some quests later on that give you additional talent points. which is why I am actually up to 19 and I'm only level 4. As I've been playing this game on my account, once I've done the quests that unlock the additional talent points, they're on all your characters on your account. So I'm not going to spend them all now. I'm just going to show you some of the talents that are available to start with, and then offer my recommendations, and obviously that's where I'll be going down. Look here first, we've got the resources. So you've got the yield from taking down trees, foraging, yield of mining, and then your personal weight capacity. Then when we go to the hunting, you've got yield from butchering animals, base stamina, crouched movement speed, so that's with stealthing and stuff, and then the amount of bones. And then you've got your cooking and farming, which just general. Obviously, you can read through them yourselves as you go. And there are 4 pages of these. So we've also got the exploration, husbandry. Yes, you can tame animals and ride them. You've then got genetics, something new that's only just really been introduced to the game just before the last expansion came out, which you can breed animals and they have their own talent trees and specs. Something I've gotten heavily into on one of my other playthroughs. I'm not going to go over the details with it now. It is something I will show you later on and show you the best way of getting what mounts you can. You've then got your fishing on this page, and then habitation. So this is all to do with the repairing. As I said, your base will take damage during storms and that. Then you've got your tools, so your pickaxes and your axes. Your building, so this is to do with crafting costs and being able to carry extra. And also something very important here, extra space. So there are 2 lots of these, which once got all 4 of these talents, when you create something that has storage, gives you an extra 10 storage space. Yeah, so 5 on there, 5 on there, which is very, very useful later. And then you've got your combat. So you've got your bows and your crossbows, where you can put your points, obviously more damage and all that sort of stuff. And then you've got your melee weapons with your spears and your blades. And then later on, you've got your firearms, which you will not have right at the beginning of the game. It's something that's unlocked in the higher tiers of the tech tree. And also you can send down some equipment, but that's to do with currency that you earn throughout playing. Again, I'll get into that a little bit later. It's not worth doing right at the beginning of the game. I'm going to look to do the survival to start with. The whole beginning of the game, it's all about collecting your resources. It's all about preparing yourself for the later tiers and everything, so you can then be prepared when you go and do the quests and everything like that. We need to unlock this tree here. I mentioned earlier about when you're taking down trees, this point here will automatically gather the wood, so you haven't got to keep clicking on it. I really like this talent. It's really worth having. And then also the one underneath, you have a 1% chance to instantly fell the tree. So the tree will just basically, you hit it and it'll all come into your storage. Absolutely brilliant. And then you've also got that with the stone or ores. So I do like to go down this tree first. So we'll put one into there. And we also want to be able to unlock this row here. So we'll put one into the rocks. And then adding extra carry weight is always very, very good. As you can see, this bar starts filling up. When it gets to the end, you'll see this little symbol here. That'll then unlock these, as long as you've unlocked the bar before. So if I add another one to my weight capacity, it then unlocks these ones here. So you've got the carry weight of the exotics. That is one of the currencies I mentioned earlier. I've never really found a use for that talent. It's really not worth taking. You've then got finding additional stone. Well, there's stone everywhere. Again, I don't find it worth taking. And then also with the oxide, it might be one worth taking, but later on, this talent will become absolutely useless. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another one into there. We're going to add the ability to turn wood into sticks. And then we're just going to lower the carry weight of the wood just so we can get a little bit further over to here. Which then will unlock the next size down. And as you can see, you've got this final symbol here, which is just there. So we need another 4 talent points in there to unlock that. Again, I find it very, very good to have your weight capacity increased so you don't get over encumbered as much. And then we need to unlock this here, so we have to take one in here. Right, I am going to leave that there. I'm going to do another couple of levels before I take these other talent points. Normally, again, as I say, on a fresh playthrough, you wouldn't have them extra talent points to get there anyway, so I'm not going to give them to myself just yet. Right, so we need to go out. We need to get ourselves up to level 5 to unlock the better crates and everything, adds more storage and that. This is the stick thing I was telling you about. Turn your wood into sticks. Worth having. Okay, so let's drink up. Let's gather a little bit of oxygen. Let's eat some of this food here. And then we are going to go and start collecting some stone. Don't think there's any damage being taken, but we'll just check. Just by holding the hammer, we'll bring up the durability of whatever you're looking at. Yeah, there's no damage there at all. But we did get our next level, so we're up to level 5 now. 4 points that time. So one of the first things we're going to do is get the medium wood crates. A little bit more expensive to make, but a lot more room in them. And then if we look at the bone knife, I find the bone knife very, very handy at the beginning. Whilst, as you tend to just use the knife for skinning the animals, each animal you skin, you'll get bones. If it breaks, you've got the bone at hand just to repair it. And also looking for a stronger arrow, so we'll go with the bone arrow. And then we're just going to save the other tech point. There may be a case where I'll take a certain wound and I'll need to take the basic bandage to repair that. There might be something that I require at a certain time, so it's always worth keeping a few points spare anyway. So whilst we're waiting this storm out, let's start making a couple of stone piles, shall we? And then we will look to make the bone knife. So we need wood, leather and bones. That's enough to make our bone knife. Don't need our stone knife anymore. And then we want to make some bone arrows. So we need sticks, leather and bones. As I mentioned earlier about the turning the wood into sticks, that's where this comes in handy. Got 3 bits of wood on me, that will make 30 sticks. So I can make 30. And we'll just destroy our stone arrows. You'll notice that when you destroy things, you do get half the mats back. So it's always worth destroying Then we'll go to our bow, hold R, where we can choose the bow and arrows, and it will change over to that. Right, we are going to do a little bit of an expansion. As we get a little bit higher, we are going to need a little bit more space. So I'm just going to take it back just an extra block. Let's make 2 more beams, 2 more wood floors, 2 more walls, 2 more ceiling pieces, and 2 more corners. So yes, to start with, you'll see that it's not snapping. You actually have to go to your building for it to then snap into place. To pick up a placed piece, just push Y. And we're going to go for the bit of a higher roof this time. There we go. Very simple expansion. That's of me. There we go. All going around the right way. Let's make some of these medium crates. I'm going to need some more wood. Let's go with 3 for the time being. Take everything out of there. So we'll put natural resources in here. In the bottom, anything food or animal related. And then the top one here, stones and minerals and stuff. And then hold X to pick up the other crates. And then we're just going to destroy these. Ooh, we have a tier 4 flash storm. The weather system on this game are just fantastic. The sounds are spot on, the visuals are brilliant, and even though the sandstorms in the desert and the snowstorms in the frozen biomes restrict view, they just fit perfectly. As you can see, the base is starting to take damage. So during this storm, I'm going to concentrate on just keeping the base fully repaired up. Lightning can set things on fire, including the base. As you can see over there, it has set a tree on fire. See what I mean about the flash storms? I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And that's another tree caught on fire over there. Well, I'm going to be spending the rest of the night repairing the base. So join me on the next episode when I take us to explore some caves, gather some metals, and hopefully get above level 10 and start getting into the quests. Thank you for watching.